Hey, my name's Tony Boutros, and this is the Reborn Podcast. At Reborn, we're all about self-improvement. Whether that means wealth, health, or relationships, the big three. Now, on this podcast, you'll find episodes with boxers, athletes, entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and more. Whether you're an aspiring athlete, or an aspiring entrepreneur, or just someone looking to improve their life, you've come to the right place. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for listening. All right, this is Tony Boutros, host of the Reborn Podcast. Today I'm joined by Tech Cheng. Tech is a great real estate investor, and I think he's going to have a great story to share today.
What's up, Tony? How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, we have had a few conversations ourselves, and you've told me some interesting things that you take over, essentially, properties, and you put them on the Airbnb, and you pay the rent month to month or 6 month or lease, whatever it is, and then you Airbnb them in, these special places that people want to vacation to. Can you go a little bit into that? What people should know that are maybe looking to get into rental arbitrage and what you do exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So rental arbitrage, first off, is not new. Just to give you a background, those that are maybe watching on the road and stuff, arbitrage to me really means it's like a spread or a difference between two things. So rental arbitrage is basically taking, say a property that a long-term landlord has, it's just a regular rental. You rent it out for a year, you sign the lease, and then you sublease it. Obviously, you should be transparent, let them know what you're doing, so they understand and it's allowed. So then you sublease it, you furnish it, and then you make it an Airbnb or what we call now corporate housing or / midterm stays. That's geared towards people that are relocating, possibly people that are displaced by insurance claims. They have water damage to their house. That's what we call kind of the midterm stay, which basically is anything over a month to maybe 12 months. It's that in-between gap. So everyone that knows some of the stuff is long-term is basically 1 year, which we start out with your leasing. Short-term is basically anything under a month, technically something we call it Airbnb. And the middle ground is the midterm stay, or it's called corporate housing as well. Yeah, so, yeah.
Now, one of the things I'm thinking is, I know you said transparency. Obviously, you want to be transparent with the landlord. And I know you own your own long-term rentals as well. Do you have any, pros and cons, you would call it, between owning a long-term rental and just rental arbitrage? Because I'm sure you run into some landlords that are like, you make money off my property. Like, no, that just that ego, or also just not wanting to deal with people coming in and out every day. You have any issues with that? What are the pros and cons of each side of things?
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. So for a landlord that's basically doing long-term rental, right? They care about two things. They care majority of times. I wouldn't say a little different, but the majority of people that I talk to, they care about how do I get paid? Basically, it's like, I want to get paid. Make sure that you don't default and not pay me and have to kick you out and all that stuff, right? And then they care about make sure the property doesn't get trashed. Those are the two major concerns, right? So what I do is my company comes in and take care of that. And you think about it, like, just to give you an idea, my pitch to these landlords, and I like talking to landlords personally, not to businesses and hotel spaces. I do more homes than I do say apartment complexes. So when I talk to a mom and pop, what we call mom and pop landlords, like someone like yourself, myself, who just owns some properties, not an investor, even some investors sometimes. But really the key is I tell them look, number one, you're renting out to me, you're renting out to a company. So I want to pay you. And if I don't pay you, you can kick me out. Right. So number two on that is you kick me out a lot easier, especially in a state where I live. I'm in Maryland, which is very, very tenant friendly. So if you're in California, same thing. You kick out this company, myself, really, my company, not a tenant. So it doesn't favor me. It actually favors the landlord. So it's a lot easier process, number one. Number two, but that's if I don't pay, right? So I pay. Number three, if I go into, I basically have to take care of the property best as possible. If I don't, then they basically can kick me out. And if I don't take care of the property, it's going to look bad for my business. Now, the pictures don't you're seeing Airbnbs like the ones behind me, if it doesn't look like that or it's dirty or something like that, I'm gonna get a bad review. It's gonna hurt my business. So I'm not here to lose business. I'm here to, obviously generate income and pay my employees and stuff like that. So I have to take care of the property, and it favors you doing that way. So I think we lost Tony, but just to give you everybody an idea, that's basically what I do. And I go in to talk to landlords. It's a very easy process. I don't know. Give me a second.
Yeah, I don't know
There
what
he is.
on it. I'm kind
We're
of
having some technical issues today,
Yeah.
just because it's tech day. Like we had some issues before this, and for those that
Yeah.
didn't know, took a little longer, and then now Tony somehow he said your laptop restarted, so you're texting me. So I'm sorry. I'm rubbing
Yeah.
off on them. I've had issues today. I'm so sorry.
my laptop just restarted. I don't know what's going on, man. It's crazy.
Yes,
But
it's
did
been
you
a crazy day.
did
I
you
kept it going. I kept it going, man.
Oh, you kept it going. Nice.
I kept it
We're
going.
clearing the show already, man.
Yeah, trying to help out.
I don't know. My computer said some random issue. I don't know. Something.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah.
usually I try and carry from the last question, but given that my computer decided, I guess it has other plans.
Yeah, no worries.
So we'll go into the next question then, I guess. Well, again, I don't even know what you just said.
Yeah,
You got to answer the question that I have on here, but
yeah. Basically, you asked me like, why would a landlord go with me versus maybe just renting out long term to just another tenant? Most times, these landlords, honestly, like they've had bad tenants. Like people, doesn't matter. Like I'm a long term landlord myself, and these tenants don't care about their place. I have to care about the property, because if I don't keep it clean, tidy, neat, and looking good, it actually affects my business. So that's what the major point in all this. It's like the apex or whatever you want to call it. It's that little niche that I say, like, if I don't take care of it, I basically am out of business. So why I'm in business to make money. So my property, which is your property in essence, right, has to look good. If it's messed up, it's damaged, then I want to take care of some of that stuff. Right? Like I've had properties of this property like behind me in the screen. It's a property. You know why? The landlords actually live next door. They didn't have the time and energy to deal with it. They wanted premium rent, actually, which the numbers worked out. And after I did my research and stuff, I said, okay, normal rent there is like $6,000. They asked for a little bit more. I'm like, I think the numbers still work out. Happy to do it. We negotiated all that stuff, and we worked it out. And basically on this one, we had a problem one time where we had a little fix for a shower, and then costing $700. And I told them, like, look, I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal in essence, but they've been really nice to me and working with me throughout the process. It's new for them, and I was just trying to help them out. Obviously, it helps me out because it makes me money, but I had to take care of their place. Like $700 fix. I actually called the plumber, and they had to get a part. Took a little longer than normal, and the place got fixed up and it's ready to go, because I don't have time for like a landlord, if you own the property, to go ahead and call somebody up, bring somebody out. It could take 2-3 days. Like I have a guest coming in, I'll pay it, and then we want to split it. I end up saying, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal. It's hopefully it doesn't happen again, but if it does, obviously, maybe I'll get them to split the cost or something like that. But for now, well, it hasn't happened again. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, how long do you typically stay in your spots? How long would you rent out a place for? Is it really as long as it keeps cash flowing, or do you have like a 3-month lease, 6-month lease?
No, usually you sign like a long-term lease, right? So you're basically a long-term renter for these landlords, and then you end up signing the 12-month leases. And you can sign up. Like I signed my first one for 15 months. So that's the reason why, as an investor, I like to get longer leases if I know it's a good area. Then you end up saving on rents, because rents keep going up every year. So after 12 months, they're going to be like, oh, it's time to renew. We're going to raise the rents because inflation and all this BS stuff with interest rates. And so they're going to raise the rents no matter what. So if you can go for a longer term lease, a 2-year lease, because like in order for me to do this property here, it costs me $30,000 to furnish it. So if I do a 1 year lease and I stay there, I'll recoup that back, obviously. But like for me to make more money, the longer I stay and keep continuing to rent it out, the more income I'm going to create myself down the road. 'Cause I need to pay back this stuff that's behind me, like all these furnitures and decorations and design work and stuff. So sometimes you got to make sure you calculate that in, because some people are like, well, I spent $10,000 to furnish this property. You know, I make the $10,000 back in like 10 months. And then the last 2 months, I maybe make a couple $100. Like that's not really enough. So you got to make sure you calculate. And the other thing with this, so I'm thinking about it, rental arbitrage is to me a better play, because let's say some people, and in terms of risk, some people will go buy a property like, I'm going to go buy something in Orlando. I'm going to make it an Airbnb because, Disney World, all this stuff. And then you find out like, Orlando is so saturated and it's like your property is not one of the top 10 properties getting booked for some reason or another. And then like, well, I thought I was going to make $100,000 like in a year, and you end up making only 60, and it barely pays, or maybe it just splits even with your mortgage. And you're like, it's an investment, but yet you didn't make any money. So it's actually not an investment, so you got to be careful about that if your goal is to make money or cash flow. So for me, it was more of a cash flow play. So that's why I changed that to arbitrage, because it's best to go into a market you don't know. Let's say like if I am going to Orlando, I don't know that area that well. I don't know if it's good or bad. Let me just test the market out by doing retro arbitrage. If it doesn't work in 12 months, then I can just get out the lease and then go somewhere else, or another neighborhood, or closer to Disney, or whatever I decide to do, or just take stuff and just move out to like Miami or something like that.
Yeah. You said it's best to go into a market you don't know?
No, I'm saying it allows you to go into a market that you don't know. I apologize. Yeah. Okay. If I don't know like an area, like let's say I don't know Philly. That's near me, but I don't know Philly. Let me just make an Airbnb in Philly. How do I know it's going to do well? I have data. There's sites that show these comps, but not for, first off, not for midterm, but let's
not for the world,
for short term. Yeah, like, and even then, like it's changing all the time. But like for what you can see right now in the last few months and year, you have data from the back. You don't have data going forward. So it's still uncertain, right? Like same thing. Like let's say, for example, while we're on this topic, like COVID happened, and we couldn't fly, we couldn't travel. Like, what if I had one in Hawaii like I have now, and people couldn't fly to Hawaii? Well, what happens now? Because you couldn't get on a plane, you couldn't travel, you couldn't do all these things. Everything's grounded, and then what happens? Your business is like gone for the most part, unless they can drive. And no one's driving to Hawaii. Let's be honest.
Right.
Can't do that. Yeah.
Right.
So you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now you said it's a better play than LTR, long-term rental. Is it the first thing you got into, or did you first buy your own few houses?
Yeah, I have some long-term rentals. My journey started back in 05 or 05, 06. Bought a couple condos near me here in Maryland. And basically as the market sank in 06, 08, pretty much in that time. Did not know about anything when I bought those. I just was making good money as a young guy, single. And my mom's like, real estate's hot, go buy it. You need depreciation, all this stuff. And then the market went straight down. I still own some of those. And then as I kept going, I just used real estate to just make a little bit of money, and got back into it really around COVID. So thanks to Pace Mortgage.
Yeah, Pace is a great way to try. I was actually going to ask about that. I've seen you post a few times about Robert Kiyosaki, and I believe you've gone to 10X as well, correct?
Yes.
Who is the most influential mentor you have had in business, you would say?
In business, and actually in real estate, which is mostly my business right now, it's got to be Pace Mortgage. Like hands down, it's not even close. I said this to a lot of people when I talk to new students and people that are out in sub 2, which is the hot right now wearing. The program sub 2, I paid like over $100K in other mentorships before, starting back in 2017 to 2020. And then I got lucky, I guess, because I found Pace Mortgage on YouTube around COVID time when everyone was locked down. Happened to watch a lot of his content. When he opened up the membership, I was like, let me join, let me get in, because he's a different person, and the program's unique. while I'm talking about it. Like I say it all the time to people that don't know sub two, and you join because obviously Pace is very influential, but you think you're getting just real estate and creative financing. Like, I can buy real estate 20% down. Also, we teach us creative real estate, which is like subject to taking over somebody's mortgage, seller financing, how to talk to sellers. We teach you how to start businesses like wholesale operations. And you partner up, and really the value is the community. But on top of that, like we're doing stuff in the community right now that you can subject to taking over people's car payments, taking a car, starting churro businesses, starting even now, just recently, at the time of this recording, we are working on buying businesses, zero down, basically, helping sellers that are maybe retiring and taking over their businesses, optimize it, and then sometimes even paying them a little annuity in essence or some money while they're in retirement. So it's a win-win proposition in essence. So it's not just real estate. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, right. So you've paid 100K for not memberships, mentorships. So needless to say that you don't have an issue paying for education because you know it's going to come back to you 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. What are the main selling points you would say Pace Morby's community has that these other top tier communities you've been in just don't?
Yeah, it's the people, and it starts actually with Pace. Pace's nature is give first and lead with value, and I totally believe that resonates with me easily because that's who I am. I want to always find a way to help. I feel like that's that's just natural for me. I am what we call a connector in terms of what we call a person's personality or avatar. I like connecting people like your son to like somebody else that might need something. It just depends on what the needs are. I'm that middle ground person, right? Somebody's like, oh, I need some private money or a deal. I can just send you to this person. Just recently, someone asked me like, hey, I know we're connected. You've been with me a long time, and I have a self-storage deal, but I don't know how to underwrite it. I don't know anything about self-storage except it's freaking building with steel doors. I'm like, okay, fantastic. Go with this person, this person, this person. I sent them 3 names, and hopefully they linked up and we take care of it. And that's really the value that I try to bring to people. But yeah, overall, like the community itself starts with Pace. It starts with a giving nature and leading with value, and then everything comes back. And a lot of my partnerships that I get from properties and other deals come from people coming to me, and then we end up forming a little called JV, joint venture. I get deals that way. I don't actually go out and find deals anymore. I don't have to. Deals come to me just through helping other people.
So basically, it's that good grace karma, you can call it, going in and going out. Just reciprocating itself.
Yeah.
You said it. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, majority of the people are like that, and it starts from the top. Like when you have a leader, Pace, who's very compelling and strong, and he sets the tone.
Yeah,
he built a community along those lines. Yet, and he didn't say it, but he's like, you should lead with value, and let's try to help you get her out. And that's, for me, it's natural. I'm not saying everybody's the same way because everyone needs to make money, and we get it. But when your leader, in essence, is doing that over and over consistently, every day, like he pays for like list of skip trace list, even back in the beginning where we started. Here's like a $50,000 or 50 name list, 50,000 skip trace list, basically. Yeah, it's a 50,000 skip trace list that he already paid for, and he got his team to scrape the list, pull the list, pay for the skip tracing, gave us the list, and said, "Go ahead and call it." I mean, does he have to do that? He spent like $10,000, $15,000 for that. Does he have to do that? No. And you get to call it, you don't spend any of your money. You're doing all the hard work. Now somebody's like, oh well, he's gonna get 1 or 2 deals. You should get 1 or 2 deals. Like you don't have to go work with Pace, but it's gonna be cool if you did because he helps you back out. Like it's again the karma. Like, he didn't ask you to bring the deal back to him, and it might not even be a deal that he wants to buy. So, but it's just like again, he's giving you something. He's leading with value. And that's how I like to live my life now.
Pace Morby, I think I've been in his community now for a few months, and I definitely agree. He's provided so much value. It just, how would you say to avoid shiny object syndrome? Because buying businesses, buying cars, buying rental arbitrage, buying long-term rentals, buying medium-term rentals, buying short-term rentals, buying flips, and so on and so forth. Should you niche down, or should you expand and maybe build a team for each individual thing, or how can you best use your time?
Yeah. So the acronym FOCUS, I actually saw this somewhere. I was talking to somebody earlier today. The acronym for FOCUS, FOCUS, I believe was focus on completion until successful, or something like that, right? Like something along that lines, something completion until success. I was like, that's really cool because you should really focus on one niche. If you get really good at one thing, doesn't matter what it is. You could be a sales, you could be what we call a closer, you could be acquisitions, be the person on the phone,
Right.
be the one. You can actually be the guy in the background doing all the systems, like setting up all the lists and whatever else. That's not who I am, but
That's one of the most
you can
important.
be a connector. Yeah, you can be a connector, and it basically comes down to your personality and your strengths, right? Everyone has different strengths. Some people don't want to be on the front of the screen talking, but some people are in the background. Like I don't mind, looking at the computers, getting the spreadsheets set up and all that stuff, and they enjoy that. That's their personality, and we both. So having that partnership is the key. Like, well, I can't do everything. I don't know everything. Same thing for you, I'm sure. Like, but if I know that you have a strength here and I have a weakness, if we mesh together, we can really do something powerful together. Right? I don't have to go learn something brand new that I'm not used to.
Right.
I don't know anything about coding. Even though my name is Tech, I am horrendous. Absolutely horrendous at technology. Tony knows this.
Yeah.
First name.
Yeah. I think even the people that were here at the beginning of the podcast know that as well. So, it's as you were saying, not even needing to make up for your own weakness, because you are getting someone who has the weakness that is your strength, and their strength is your weakness, and then you just pair together well. So what you were saying, the guy in the background that can put all the systems together and do all that, to me and to you, I think it's tedious. It's like, I want to go out there and like talk to people and like do shit. I don't want to be here, behind the camera, or not behind the camera, behind, like, just unseen, and making systems and making sure that day to day is going smoothly. But at the end of the day, it's such a crucial part of the business that needs to be done by someone. And the thing is, some people, that's all they want to do. Some people, they love it. So that's, I've been acquainted with a few myself, and they just have helped me tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's that partnership. It's the yin yang. You can't, and it's not even say a yin yang of two people. It could be like I've seen successful teams that are in the community that are 3 or 4 people, but you have to have what we call with this. I say this yin yang. There's basically what we call visionary and a innovator. And there's like it's the innovators, that back person. Like they're basically doing all the background heavy duty work, right? And the visionary is like the one out there like putting their name out.
Right.
If you think about it, it's kind of maybe an analogy is like we all know Donald Trump, right? He's very out there. So like Donald Trump, and he has a team behind him doing all the hard work. Like he's not doing, he's known for his real estate. Like did he actually put himself in there and like hammer nails and like pour concrete? No, he has guys doing that work. And then even before that, between that construction worker and who he is operating and getting the money to get the stuff done, what's his strength? He's really good with networking and knowing the people that have money and bringing those deals together and structuring those. He's smart. But then he's got the team in between and knows how to find a construction team or knows what to do. He has that set in place. And whoever that person above that, maybe his vice president or his COO or whatever you want to call it, that person's doing the operations, right? Like I can be the CEO, the face of the company, and I can have somebody be the CEO who's basically the one that's running the operations. And to me, that person's more important than anything else. Because
Right.
if you don't operate, then you fail. There's a lot of people like that. A lot of businesses that fail because of that. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, without getting too political, I think you could almost argue that Trump or anyone else that's in a position like he is, with that team behind him, he would be, without that team behind him, he would be so much further behind than he is now, running for president and, having a multi-billion dollar businesses. And I know he has like a big private jet, everyone, like a Boeing 727, 707, something like that. It's crazy, but without his team, I don't know what
you need help. I mean, you can't do it. I mean, even like who's the richest person right now? I think Elon Musk or something like that, or even Jeff Bezos, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
the audience knows about. Yeah, I don't know. If the audience knows about like Steve Jobs, right? Like Apple. We all know Apple products. And Steve Jobs was the face of it, but there's a guy named Steve Wozniak, right? That people know more about now. That did a lot of the background stuff.
Right.
So it's like you need both. I mean, you can't. And here's the thing, because you're the one person show that is trying to do all that. You're really gonna be one sided. Your personality and your strengths are to one or the other side. Like there's actually a book called The Rocket Fuel. There's a test you can do and figure out who you are. It's actually like a 10-minute test, which is kind of cool. But like you go through the questions and it kind of spits out like you're 65% this and 25% this, or like, I think ended up being like 68, 69, almost both. But I'm like, wait a second, that's not right. Like I feel like I'm more visionary. And then as you change also, I think as you develop, you kind of lean into one way or the other. And I have tendencies for both, obviously.
Right. And being a one-man show, I think you can be a one-man show, but you have to be very, 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 very niched down. And even at that point, I mean, unless you're literally like one of or the only person that can do what you do, you're not going to go very far. You need to scale. And in order to scale, you have to have a team. You're not going to be a one-person show.
Yeah, so you can only do so much by yourself, right? We've heard that all like growing up. I can was the saying now. I hear a lot, and I'm sure you heard, it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with others. So for me, it's like and plus for me, this is just me. I don't think I could do it by myself. Like I need to have other people. Like it's more fun too. Like when you have friends and partners that you enjoy working with to do it. Like if I did it by myself, I do all this work and everybody's an employee. I'd rather go out and hang out with friends. Like I think it's just general human nature. We're social beings.
Yeah.
So it's like if I get to like $200,000 or whatever, $200 million level, and I have yachts, like I want to be able to hang with people that can hang with me, like have yachts too. I can go to my yacht, they go to your yacht, or they can bring their helicopter. I mean, that's just you see all the people. And actually, sorry, this is more tangent, but I happened to see a story. I'm not sure where it was, but it was like Magic Johnson. The reason I'm talking about Magic Johnson is that it was reported, I think, in one of our news channels local here. He joined the ownership team that bought the Washington Commanders football team that's local to me. And even that team, it's a conglomeration of like very rich people. But I've never seen Magic and his wife, I think, hanging out like on a resort or something like that, like a few weeks before they signed a deal here to close the purchase of the football team. He was hanging out like, I'm not sure he was with, but he was other celebrities, other rich, famous people. So, yeah, have fun with it, right? Hang with your friends and wins.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's a good point as well. It's just your overall enjoyment of life. You might be even more successful, possibly, doing it while being the top dog and being the only top dog, but you're not going to enjoy your life as much. And I think for most people now, some people are only business oriented, and good for them, but if you want to enjoy your life, you want to have a family, you want to have health, you want to have business and everything, then you need to not be alone, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think you're also a little egotistic. Like you should share with the world. Because let's say you're alone, and let's say Elon Musk, if you're alone, you make $200 billion or whatever he's worth now, right? Like he doesn't need all that money. Like what's he gonna spend it on? Unless he's like trying to restart a new like human race on Mars or Moon, something like
Right.
that. I mean,
Well, they are going that way though. They are going that way.
so maybe I don't know, but I mean, I'm on this earth, so I
Yeah.
don't need that much money. And even if I did, it's like, wow, like, what am I going to do with it at this point?
I mean, they have so much money that literally you can't spend that for however
Yeah,
many
you can't.
generations. And like so many generations into the future, you'd still have such an excess amount of money that's it's like impossible to spend. Literally, like everyone in the family could have 5 yachts and 5 jets.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
His great grandchildren in 5,000 BC would still be billionaires at that point. You know, it's like, that's insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny you brought up the quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Because I think that's been brought up in the past like 3 episodes as well. And to me, I always say like, I don't understand the quote, because how are you going to go faster alone than if you have a team and you can go together? You're going to be able to take care of different things at once. Rather, to me, I don't, you're going to go, for me, you're going to go further and you're going to go faster together. I don't understand how you're going to go fast alone, but maybe I'm missing something.
Think about like, okay, if it's just you by yourself and you have like, you know, like those ruck packs or whatever, you know, I'm talking about those backpacks that have a lot of weight or something like that through those military trainings. You're carrying that, you can go fast by yourself. No one's holding you back, right? Like, I don't have to worry about, I don't like say a parent, like, oh, there's no kids behind me. I don't have a family. I can just go anywhere I want. I can go as fast as far as I want, obviously, right? But if I want to go further, is really, if you think, and this is a small tangent, but as I think about this, is if you look at the greatest successful people in the world in any field, so I know we're talking about different things. What's first off, what's your favorite sport?
Basketball or football?
Okay.
Either one. Let's say basketball.
Let's say basketball. Who is the greatest basketball player in your mind? Everyone has different opinions, don't get me wrong.
I got to say LeBron. I grew up in that era.
Right. So I would say Michael Jordan. Okay. But let's skip that for a second, because we have different opinions and everyone's welcome to have that. But I think we could all agree the best player in football is probably Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we think he's the best player?
Because he's won the most, and I think I see where you're getting at. He has the best team and the best coach around him as well.
But he also has the longest consistent reign. Right? He's got the most championships, but he's also one of the longest running quarterbacks in terms of his career. So consistency is key to success in my mind. Like, you can be really good, but it's in a short time span. But the best players are the ones that are obviously winning and at the top of their field for the longest period of time. That's why we're like, that's the greatest player. Right? I don't think, I think if you go out and poll out of 100 people anywhere, who's the greatest, you know, professional American football player? And, you know, we all know that football is different overseas, but who's the greatest American professional football player in the NFL? I would say 9.5 out of 10 people will say Tom Brady. And it's not even close.
Well,
I'm not even a big Brady fan. I'm not a Brady fan, but I admit that he is the best. I was a big Manning fan. I like Peyton Manning, but Manning had to leave because he got hurt. And then look where he, I think Peyton Manning, when he retired, had the most passing yards. Tom Brady now has that. He has all these records because his longevity.
Yeah.
Right. LeBron, same thing. He can be considered the best, but then, you know, there's different parallels as to what's the best, you know, player. Well, he didn't win as many championships. He lost more in finals. It's a debate of sorts. It's the same thing like Tiger Woods in golf. He's considered the best player, but I know a lot of golf, and some people, like, because we never saw it, Jack Nicklaus, who has more professional majors than Tiger. So which one is it? There's usually one or two. And that's the greatest thing about sports. You can debate who's the best player. Like, someone might say like Drew Brees, or I don't know, whoever else is in the football. So
there's also so many different ways that you can argue it, because Jordan, you know, he never lost in the finals, and LeBron is, I believe, 4 and 5, I think.
I I know he's got 4 championships, I think. Yeah, he's like 4-4, 4-5, or maybe he's
Yeah.
5-4. Yeah.
So he's lost
Yeah, he's got a great
several,
career. Yeah.
but then Jordan lost several times in the first round. I don't think LeBron's ever lost in the first round, and he's lost earlier on in the playoffs. And now you can also take it from the standpoint that the Eastern Conference was tougher back then, the Western Conference is tougher now, and like there's just so many different ways you can argue it.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, it's there's multiple goats, if you will, and they're all great in their own right.
Right. And same thing. And we're talking sports, but like you look at like different areas of business and stuff like that, like the best people that are in these businesses, they've lasted for a long time. I mean,
Right.
for example, Coca-Cola, everyone knows Coca-Cola, right? It's older than both you and I combined.
Yeah.
I mean, these companies that have this legacy basically is what you're looking for. So the longevity is key, the consistency. So when you're doing that with a team, you can build that out further because, let's say, for example, if I started the company and I pass away, then maybe I've left the grandson or whoever's next in the line. It continues to build that legacy and grow it, grow it, and grow it. And down the road, you have this successful company. In the beginning, you're not going to get successful. First generation sometimes may not. Like, look, for example, Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company. It started from a family company. So there's lots of examples of why people are so successful.
Is that how you envision your family? You building the foundation of your legacy, or maybe even your parents or grandparents building the foundation for then you to be better than your parents and your kids to be better than them, and so on and so forth.
I mean, I think so because first off, I'm single. I have great nieces and nephews. I love them to death. It's probably one of my whys, to be honest, because you want to build something for the next generation, but it's not even just them. I think it's for other people. Like my passion is to get to a point where I want to be able to give enough away. I can't take it with me. I know that we're not going to take it with us. When you die, you got nothing. Like, it's like, good luck. Like, it's going to happen to your legacy. That's the key thing. So for me, I want to give back to just the general public, maybe through a charity. And then like you hear all these, I get inspired by hearing like, the Gates, the Warren Buffetts, and these other people that are like, I'm going to give like, or even Mark Zuckerberg now, I think I heard is giving like 50% or a certain amount of money from their endowments and their fund or whatever they have in charity before they pass. Because you're worth like $100 million, $100 billion. Like when you pass, your kids are going to have some money anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to be plenty happy.
Plenty to go around.
It's plenty to go around. Exactly. Plenty to go around.
Now, honestly, we've kind of gotten a little bit off track. So I want to talk to you about your mindset, just being an entrepreneur, being a landlord, especially. I know landlords can be tough because you're dealing with tenants that are sometimes maybe not the best tenants, especially the short-term tenants that are very, very needy. So how do you stay focused when you're dealing with the ups and downs of real estate investing in your rentals?
Yeah, I don't own those. I rent them, and some of them I do own long term as well, and I own some too. But the business itself as an entrepreneur is different. Like I came from a W-2 world where I was like working, consistent job, and you're working for other people. And then what made me, I was always an entrepreneur. But as an entrepreneur, it should be ups and downs. I've told this to some people. I'm like, when my day and my week is going like pretty easy, I'm actually scared. I'm like, I'd rather have like little blips, little headaches or whatever you want to call them, little problems, right? Like today I had AC went out basically at this one condo, and we're going through a heat wave here in DC starting today, and like crap, it's also Labor Day. I'm like, man, it's gonna be hard to get somebody out there. That's to me very light. I could go pay for her to go stay in a hotel with her family for 1 or 2 nights till I can get it fixed.
Right.
I was calling around before we jumped on this call, but it's not the worst thing. I want to get to the point where I can get somebody to do that for me, somebody on my team, so I don't have to do that. That's where I'm going with my business. But that's a small thing to me. some people are like, oh my God, no, she's, oh yeah, like, well, she's gonna complain and not pay the rent. You gotta be able to handle that. That's part of an entrepreneurial life. There's ups and downs, and it's never a straight line. And you see these graphs that go, entrepreneurship's like this.
Right.
And, you know, like it's all over the place, and eventually you'll go up. You know, like you want like to make a solid career as engineer or whatever. You have a solid, more of a line that's going slowly tracking up. As you get older,
Right.
you'll make more money. But even then, like I think around 50, 55 is where you top out your earnings for the most part, most jobs, and then you start to crumble down. But for me, here's the thing about entrepreneurship. Talking about that in terms of most people worry about money. So as an entrepreneur, my goal is to retire to a certain age. I don't want to work until I'm 62 and retire. Like you always see these things, you know, whereas if you get out of college at 21, 22, and you work 40 years until you're 62, which they might change all that stuff. So scary. 40 years and then you're going to retire. Well, when you retire and you have all this money left over to go boating, camping, whatever, you're 62 years old. Your bones are brittle. Sorry.
Right.
You're getting older. Like you'll live longer, don't get me wrong, but why enjoy life when you're retired at 62 when you can enjoy life and retire when you're 32, 42?
Right.
Like retirement's, yeah, to me, it's a big thing because I want to quit. And basically for me, retirement means I can choose to do whatever I want today. I can jump on a plane, go somewhere else. I can go, you know, fly a car or fly a plane somewhere or boat somewhere or go whatever, hunting, go golfing, skiing. I can just do whatever I want.
Right.
It's the freedom that I want. And I don't want to be like, the reason why the tangent there was, I don't want to be stuck working the rest of my life. So I have to take the ups and downs. In the beginning, you're going to have more downs. It's part of life. It's funny. You hear more no's than you hear yeses in life.
Yep.
Think about it.
Correct.
Everybody think about it when you're a kid. Hey, mom, can I have a cookie? No. You know what? Or yes, maybe after you have this, eat your vegetables first. That stuff. It's still no. School. You gotta go to the bathroom? Not yet, Timmy. Mary's still in the bathroom. Yeah, stuff like that. Like you're hearing no like consistently.
Right.
And if you get used to be desensitized by no, and it means nothing, it won't affect you. Like, you just understand that. Like in our field, as real estate investors, we call these people and like you'll hear like 9 no's before you hear yes.
Right.
It's probably higher than that ratio, but I mean, expect it first, and then again, it doesn't matter. Small tangent, if you don't mind, is I was thinking about this the other day when I was talking to somebody. Like, why are there more gentlemen real estate like gurus? Right, a lot of the teachers and gurus for real estate investing are guys. Have you ever thought about that?
I have now. Now that you mention it, it's
You get to pay more being the max wingers, one.
I think there's one female
women coming up now, and it's a social media thing. But at the same time, what made me think about this, like the guys are used to hearing no from women that have basically told them, "Hey, you go out with me?" No.
Right.
And the ones that are successful go, "I don't care." Next, it's a numbers game. Number gaming dating. And so then like, okay, well, you're not. Next model. Like, dude, Tom Brady got dumped by Giselle.
Right.
Holy God, dude.
Yeah.
She was richer than him. Did you know that?
I heard that. I don't know. I mean, I've heard that she's a really successful model and she's richer than him. It's crazy to even comprehend, honestly. That she should make that much fun
for most of their life. And I think they still are. Anyways.
Are they officially divorced?
They've been divorced for about, I think, a year.
Okay, they are divorced. Okay, I knew they'd like split up or whatever, but yeah. So retirement, you said do what I want today. Does that mean you're still gonna have your own properties cash flowing in every month, and you'll just have like a property manager, or you just basically you'll have enough cash stacked up already?
Yeah, I mean, I would have enough. Well, there's 2 things. I'm not sure we ever talked about this, but there's one called cash flow, and then there's like I call rich money, and then wealthy. There's like 2 portions of the scale. I'm still at the portion where I'm trying to build to get rich, not wealthy yet. I'm not there yet. So rich for me is like, I need to have enough monthly income consistent coming in where I can pay my bills, live my life, still happy. And at the same time, I'm still building wealth by buying properties, so I have down the road money. So when I do want to retire, I can do, I would, like, in essence, a nest egg, right? So they call it. Like, I have plenty of other properties, what they're worth.
Hey, this is Tony
Right now,
Boostros. Sorry for the interruption. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. If you are, please do me a favor. I'd appreciate it so much. Just share this episode with someone else who can gain value, an entrepreneur, an athlete, or just someone trying to improve their life. If you have that person in mind or people in mind, please, I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart to share it with them. Not only would it mean so much to me, it would mean so much to them. You know what they say, your net worth is your net worth. Be a valuable part of someone else's net worth. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. I'm curious, you were saying you'd rather have a headache than a big mishap later in the week. What do you define as a big mishap?
Like the pipes bursting, someone dying. Because
Right. So massive.
Like a major thing, like wow, like that actually affected me emotionally. Like a pipe bursting probably is not that big. It's probably on a more medium scale because they'll be displaced. But in terms of that building, if the pipe did burst, it would put other people in jeopardy, in essence, because she lives on the top floor of my condo. There's two other floors underneath, so like that water would probably go downstairs and affect other people. Now, obviously insurance is going to cover a lot of that stuff, but like it puts a strain where I'm like, I'm not just thinking about one person. I'm thinking about one family. I'm like, I got other families I got to focus on. I feel terrible. I mean, it's not my fault, obviously, but like I have to figure that out.
Right. You have properties nationwide, correct?
Yes. I mean, not every state, but yeah, they're pretty broad.
So is that stressful to manage properties that are so far from one another, or is it more easy?
Yes and no. So part of the rental arbitrage strategy should be, if you guys ever get into it, pick a market. It doesn't have to be like local to you, but pick one market. Try to get all the properties in that area for the most part. That way you can kind of build your team. And when I was doing it, and I was all over the place, and I just happened to pick up properties that were successful, that I thought were successful, and then I just kept building from there. And then different things came up where, like, for example, the last one I picked up was near me. It's a community member from sub 2 asked me to take on this property because he was getting relocated from Northern Virginia all the way to Dallas, and he's like, I don't have time. And basically, if he rented it out as a regular rental, he would have actually be losing a couple $100 a month, and you couldn't take all the furniture. He's like, it's pretty much like 80% set up because I have furniture there. So I came in, ordered some furniture, set up the rest of the house, and do the operations and make a little bit out of it, managing for him. He's like, I don't care, so long as I don't lose money. That's all he cared about. He's like, so that way I don't come out of pocket for $200-$300 every month paying rent. So yeah, this is more that, again, leading with value and then trying to help somebody out. And it's a win-win because he doesn't really get too many headaches. Whenever things come up, I just let him know.
Right. Do you ever do small things? I'm thinking like events per se. If there's a big event, let's say the Super Bowl, coming to your city or coming to wherever it's coming. Would you ever get one that's, a month and Airbnb it out for that, but it's not really?
No, they usually, they usually won't do that. Like most times you're going to have to sign a 1-year lease. So unless you like already have like some kind of relationship with these people,
right?
It's highly unlikely. Like I have friends all around, or like the Super Bowl was in Phoenix early this year. And even then, like I heard a story of one guy in like 50 Airbnbs in the city of Phoenix, and he was so oversaturated and maybe overpriced that he only had like less than 50% of his booked over a simple week. Now weekends, week. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he made profit. Hopefully he did and he wasn't in trouble, but I'm sure that he was not happy with like 50% of his portfolio not getting booked and expecting that. That's part of the downs. You don't know what you don't know, and you can't control certain things. So it's a learning game.
Yeah. You have to be, I guess, willing to, if you're going to take that big of a bet, 50 plus Airbnbs, you have to be willing to have it go the wrong way. And I guess in that case, unfortunately, it did.
Well, yeah, the thing is, again, it's a mindset thing. Like, let's say he owns all those and he wasn't renting them. If he owns, or he had a portion of those, and let's say he owns half. To me, I'm like, and then there's the benefit. I always look at the positive side if I can.
Right.
And really on this is like, if he owns those, they're not rented. He could probably still turn them over and make them like a long-term rental or just whatever he wants to do. Maybe just a couple of days here and there that like gets booked. But he gets what he called depreciation, which is a benefit of owning real estate. It's the reason why Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes, right?
Right.
Depreciation is a very cool thing if you know how to use it. And if he owns those, he doesn't do rental arbitrage, the property also is going up in value each year. So he gets that appreciation as well. So there's a lot of the extra benefits. That's one of the reasons I love real estate.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest reasons. I mean, you see hedge funds getting into real estate, and that's all they do. Or one of their primary focuses is, I mean, they have so much money they need to. I mean, most people don't want to be like, oh yeah, let me give billions of dollars to the government. Just charity work. Just let them take all my money. I think they'd rather have cash flowing assets.
Yep, exactly.
So, I know we have discussed Miracle Morning. That's what it's called. Miracle Morning. Never heard of it until you. Could you take us into what it is and how it's impacted your life?
Yeah, I knew about it. The book's by a guy named Hal Elrod, Elrod, Hal is first name Hal. And basically there's a movie that came out. You can watch it on YouTube, behind the scenes stuff. But what happened to Hal was he basically, at his deepest point in life, and I actually told this to one of my best friends, I was like, whatever you think you went through and you're down right now, like I can almost guarantee you this guy in this book, Hal, he's had it worse than you. I mean, he had a major car accident and all that other stuff. I won't ruin the book for you, but it's a very cool story. And basically when he got out, we basically like researching as to what the most successful people do. And everyone talks about this, meditation, affirmations, exercise, journaling. And so basically it's like, why is everybody like Oprah Winfrey's talking about one or two of these things or combinations? Like they're exercising and they're saying, I am the best ever. I am having a great day. I am, worthy of success and all these other things, right? Meditating and other stuff, but everyone's doing different things. What he basically said was there's 6 things that they all do, but why not combine all 6 of them?
Right.
And what he basically named it is called SAVERS, and it stands for silence, which is for meditation. So the first S is silence. Affirmations, which does stuff like, I was saying before, like I am, great. I am going to have a great day. I am successful. I am loved. All these things, tell yourself, and you have to believe it. There's other things behind the stuff, and it's the same thing with meditation. So there's silence, affirmations, visualization. So they're just kind of visualizing your day and things of that nature, what you want. So E is for exercise, which is simple. R is for reading, right? All the stuff that people read. And then S, the last S, is for scripting or journaling. So he said, why don't we do all 6 of these? And basically teaches you can do it in 6 minutes. You can do it in an hour. So what it also does is it makes you get up early in the morning. And this program basically, in essence, is getting up early and earlier where you get your day started and get everything of these saviors done before 8 o'clock, before your day actually starts. So you're starting your day with intention and getting these things that will benefit you, right? All these things are going to benefit you. Exercising. People are like, I don't want to go run right now, or I don't want to wake up and do weights or yoga or whatever. But you know it's really good for you.
Right.
You know, why meditate? Giving yourself time away. Like, and what I've noticed, to be honest, is like I'll get up in the morning. I'd start in at like 7 o'clock. I used to wake up like 7, 8 o'clock, and I'll wake up earlier. Next thing I know, I'm like tell myself to wake up earlier because I wasn't getting the stuff done in time before the day started, before things got crazy. So now I tell myself I'm going to get up 5:45 every day, you know, and I roll out of bed, do my coffee and all that stuff, and then I start my day with savers. And I usually do it for about an hour. That's just my own thing, and I feel like what I've done is basically I've taken care of myself, right? The rest of the day, anything else I can't control, but I've taken care and I've controlled my exercise, my breathing, my affirmations, all these other things, my journaling, which helps you write down your goals as well, not just like whatever you want, but there's different ways to journal too. And so I'm learning it, the same process. And I've been doing it for about a little bit over a month. And I got to tell you, like, I started just running around a little bit and just getting feeling good. And I'm like, there's more to life, right? Like, take care of your health. You know, and then there's other things that you can do, mantras, whatever you want to call them, affirmations to, you know, bring wealth to you. I started getting more spiritual. There's all these other things that come out of this that I found very profound and successful for me so far.
Is this something you can do twice a day? I feel like this could be maybe a good morning and pre-bed routine, or no?
Yes, you can. You can do it in the evening as well. And here's the thing. For me, I not like the way he did it because he said he was in a morning guy in his book. I like doing it in the morning because the rest of the day will get stressful, get out of control. Excuse me. If I can control, basically, if you think about taking care of yourself, it's the old thing of airplane and the mask things down. Put your mask on yourself first, then put it on your child. They always say it every time, right? I don't care where you are. Mask on yourself, then on your child. Excuse me. So me, it's like I'm taking care of other people, my family, my friends, business partners. So I need to take care of me first.
Right.
If I die or if I don't do what I do, then everything else falls apart. That's how I see it. Now, will that happen? No, I'm not, top of the chain right now. But I have people that will still rely on me. So if I take care of myself and I feel healthy mentally, spiritually, physically, the rest of the day does not bother me. And if you don't mind, I'll tell you a quick story.
Go ahead. Yeah.
When I did this, probably about maybe a little bit after 2 weeks, maybe at 16, 17 days, I had a neighbor come to me across the street, rings the doorbell. It's a Sunday like today. And around this time, actually, it's around 4:30, 5 o'clock and on the East Coast. And he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, I'm like, what's going on, Jay? He's like, man, I saw these 3 or 4 black kids and this other kid was being Spanish or something. They just dropped that shopping cart right on your lawn. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, okay. And she's pointing to it. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. Let me know. And he's really angry. He's like, and it pissed me off. I went over there. I followed those kids. I went to their house and knocked on the door, talked to the parents. I got their address, talked to the parents. Like, yeah, we'll discipline them. He's like, I don't know what she's going to do or anything. He's really angry.
Right.
Very, very like red, what I call, like he was definitely not feeling happy. And I was calm. Yeah. I tell this story because for me, it's a reflection point for me. I looked at him and I go, cool. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate you letting me know. And I was calm. And I usually get mad. I used to get mad at small things that triggered me, right? So I've been doing the Miracle Morning and all this stuff. And like, hey man, I totally get that. And he's like, aren't you mad? He actually said, aren't you mad? And I said, looked at him calmly. I said, no, I'm not. He's like, why, dude? I'm like, honestly, man, like, I was a young kid. I did some stupid things when I was a kid, number one, So I get that from their standpoint. So I'm looking at a different perspective coming from their mind. And I said, to be honest with you, leaving a shopping cart in my lawn, yes, it doesn't really hurt me though. They
Yeah.
didn't tear up my house. They didn't like slam it into like my garage or my window and vandalize my house. They just happened to leave it that had to be there. They could have left it like 3 blocks away in a more community area, but they didn't. It's fine. And I just looked out the comment and said, no, honestly, I'm not like. And then I didn't reflect until I finished the conversation with him. I came back in the house. I'm like, man, I literally would jumped. That would trigger me before. Or like, maybe it's just maybe a warning that's gotten me a little more calm and understanding about it's not gonna be the end of the world. Some people would take that for and be like super pissed off and like go, where do they live? Give me that address. Let me call the cops. And he actually was like, what do you think I should do? Call the cops? And I go, yeah, but dude, and I actually said to him, I said, cops aren't gonna do anything. I mean, this is nothing. Like, to be honest, let's not waste the cops' time because this is minute. That small blip in the road, that road, that bump that I was talking about for pieces, this is like literally like a pimple size issue.
Yeah.
To me. I'm like, dude, why are you so mad? And I didn't ask him that, but that was like the next day I walked outside and I saw his car and I saw like the bumper getting messed up. I'm not sure how long that's been, but I noticed it. And I was like, maybe because he probably had a bad accident, he had a bad day. Obviously, he had something that triggered him. Because here's the thing, it wasn't even his yard. He's across the street. Like, why does he care? And he's talked to me maybe like once every year. So I'm like, what's going on? So I was like, something must have triggered him to get really mad.
Yeah.
So what I internalized really was like, I'm glad I didn't jump and get triggered by that. Because I could have easily in the past. And I was like so calm that I saw him calm down too. And I helped desensitize the whole situation because he could have maybe did something stupid, maybe. I don't know. I don't think he would have. But I was like, cool, like, I'm helping him out. And I just said to him, like, it doesn't really bother me. Like, it didn't so many things that were worse than this. And he's like, man, I guess you're right. He actually said, yeah, I guess you're right. And he didn't believe me probably yet, but he understood that I wasn't mad. And I didn't tell him until later, a couple weeks later. I was like, that whole situation in the car, like, I don't, it's not even your, man. Like, I don't get why you're so pissed off because, man, just came back, kids are bothering me and all this other stuff. So there's other things that triggered him. It wasn't even anything. This was the final little, like, match or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So I was like, man, it's not a big deal, man. Like, there's so many stupid things that happen in the world. This is so minor. And to me, it was good for me. Like, I learned more about that situation, and I'll never forget that because maybe it's the timing of the whole thing of doing Miracle Morning, getting better. It's my self-improvement. Maybe it's for me, like, I'm getting better with this Miracle Morning stuff in terms of my mindset, how to deal with stress or something like that.
Right. So you're seeing real world differences in yourself just from doing this Savers, the Miracle Morning. How long have you been doing it?
A little bit over a month. I started just running around doing exercises, and then my buddy I saw posted. I had seen the book, and I actually watched the movie on YouTube. Like, this is really cool. I like the story. I've heard good things about Hal, and once I was doing bad with Bay. He's got a community and all this stuff, and it's a cool thing to keep yourself going. Like, hey, people taking pictures of, hey, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, alarm clock, and getting my day started. And you can do these things in, basically 6 minutes. You can do them in like 6 hours. It's up to you how you want to do it. But the ultimate thing I get out of it is like, I'm doing something for myself. I am a person that does things for other people first. Right. If I'm doing something myself, I'm taking care of myself at the beginning of the day. But the rest of the day is towards everybody else. But my first hour is on me.
And you're doing it for yourself, but I think you would not be able to give as much to the people around you if you weren't doing this for yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's really powerful. I have two questions.
Sure.
One, how long does it typically take you? Because I know you said it can literally take 6 minutes. You just do a minute of everything. I'm assuming it takes you about 2 hours, 15 minutes with before 8 a.m.
I do, so I'll wake up, like 5:45, and I go do the morning stuff, brush your teeth and all that stuff, and make the coffee. and then I start my day. I start my routine probably around like 6:15ish, and I finish it probably about 7:15, 7:30. It just depends on like what I'm reading. Sometimes I'm listening to like informations. Like there's a lot of stuff on. They have an app as well. And you can do some of the stuff on the app. You can do guided meditation. I was on YouTube listening to different things. Actually, the recent thing I was listening to and watching to this morning, last week actually, was Tony Robbins. You know, it's in your, you can pick and choose what you want. I was listening to Tony Robbins on his book, Money and Master the Game. And I was like, this is a very interesting book. And I finished, there's a book that you can buy. It's called The Miracle Morning by Hal. FYI, you can get different miracle mornings. They have miracle mornings for students, miracle mornings for like teachers, miracle mornings for like family, and like how to get better, and just different books. And even for real estate investors, other one. Like that's a regular miracle morning one, and I was like, this is a cool book. If I want to add more, I can add more, but just the premise of doing these things and getting figured out today. And we can do it, like you said, morning, evening. Some people do it, afternoon. I just happen to like, I like the app because it has this thing that you click off, and I did each one of these, boom, 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 and it keeps me going, like motivated, like I'll keep going, get the streak as long as I can.
Right. I think you answered it a little bit, that you can kind of modify it to what you want. I was wondering if you have to do it in a certain order. The statements, silence, affirmations.
No, you do it any way you want. I mean, I always start with, well, I don't always start. I start most of the mornings with the silence affirmations. They can kind of come together. Usually a pretty tired morning. I actually, it's funny. I feel more refreshed. When I started running more, I feel more refreshed. And I go for jogs. Some people do yoga and other like strength stuff. And for me, I do the running and exercise last. And I take a cold shower. So I get that sweat in and then take a cold shower. Those cold showers are like, I found out it's really good for you. Or actually a cold plunge, which I want to start trying to do soon.
Cold plunges are great.
Yeah, this was really
they make cold showers look like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. I'm at the level. Not yet. Not there yet.
Yeah, it's. I haven't taken a warm shower in at least a few months now. I only take cold showers, but even like I said, the cold plunge compared to a cold shower is way different. Because I think a shower in probably 60 degrees, and the cold plunge that I have been using is 40. So just right there. And 40, I don't know. I'm sure there's some that are even colder than that, but it's a 20-degree difference.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I would probably, I heard somewhere like you do 50 degrees or 48 degrees, 50 degrees for 3 minutes. This guy named Gary Brecka, I'm not sure you heard Gary. This is a guy who runs 10X Health.
Sounds possibly familiar.
Yeah. You've heard of Grant Cardone.
I have. Yeah, I think everybody's got Grant Cardone one now.
Yeah, Gary Brecka is the guy who does the health on the 10X. Health family. Talks about it all the time, like breathing, just different kinds of breathing, and talks about. And I've done it sometimes where part of my miracle morning. Sometimes I'll just stand with bare feet on grass. There's an energy force between that as well. I'm like, dude, that's kind of cool. Like just tapping into stuff that I didn't know. And so you have to believe it. You should. The only things that are going to benefit you, right? So you shouldn't have a little knowledge. Like, someone says, go drink, like bath water. Yeah. Is it really helping? Like, it's good for you? Like, someone's like, take a bite, get some shrooms. Like, okay, well, shrooms, like, yeah, you should do your own research, obviously. It has to work for you. But going back to the other question, 2 hours, 1 hour, 6 minutes, it's up to you how you want to do it. The key thing is get everything completed, and get your day started with intent, and then that way the rest of the day becomes, to me, you're stressed out. Like I've done all my exercise and accomplished what I needed to. Like the first thing is I already accomplished one thing.
Right.
So on the rest of the days, with nothing else, I've gotten physical, spiritual, and mental capabilities in my health ready to go.
Right. I'm just curious because I don't know how you can fit a exercise and reading, because exercise, when I think of exercising, it's usually at least an hour. Well, it depends on what kind of exercise, I guess. reading maybe 20, 30 minutes, but do you have a set time that you do for each one? Or is it kind of just how you're feeling
No,
each individual day?
yeah, yeah. It's everything's a little different. Not pre-planned or anything. It's that again, like they have the app, and you can tap in the app. Like they have different combinations. They have different people on their app telling you like it's a guided meditation. Like close it down, close your eyes, find a comfortable spot, breathe in this way, and you're going to be doing your affirmations. When doing your silence, and also you're doing some exercise. Sometimes I'll tell you like I think I did one this morning. It's like I sat down, closed my eyes, and they're guiding through like telling you like what affirmations to talk about. So there's different ones like getting your goals, getting your
Right.
just a bunch of different stuff. But it's neat.
I've heard Grant Cardone also mention that he writes his goals, I think goals and objectives, first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. Goals being, long term, what do I want to achieve in basically my lifetime? And objectives, what am I going to do today that's going to get me towards those goals? So I think it's definitely onto something there, and would be for me. I've definitely never done anything like this. I've done exercise first thing in the morning pretty consistently, but nothing like this. I think that could be powerful for myself and for pretty much anyone. Are there any? Well, I want to think about how I'm going to phrase it.
Mhm.
How important would you say just mental well-being is in your line of business? Do you think it's crucial?
Yeah, I think mental well-being in general. Like I have actually a background in psychology from college. I actually have a degree in psychology, but I never practiced or anything big in that. I pursued it fully. But I think mentally, you always hear the stuff going on with mental health issues. Nowadays with kids that are getting harassed online, social media is bad for you, and all these other things. But yeah, I think mentally, it's the mentality and the mindset.
Yeah.
If you're going to become an entrepreneur, be a real estate or any kind of business or any venture, you have to have thick skin, and also you have to hold the need to be successful. Sometimes that fake until you make it thing. I don't know. I used to tell myself like things are happening. Like one of my mantras on affirmations like things are happening for me, not to me.
Yeah.
Say it like that, and I believe it. Like I have crazy stories in the last year that things are happening, and if you're open and you're, we call it, I think, being abundant, the open-mindedness, and you attract the things that you want. And,
Right.
sometimes it's answers, sometimes it's right in front of you, but the universe is, I just feel like there's a higher being now. I went this way before, not saying before Miracle Morning, but even like a couple months ago, like, I don't know, the universe is working against me. Like I was so negative. Like now I'm like, I just believe the universe is sending me signs. I'm at a point in my life where I'm doing the right things. I'm on the right path. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It'll never be perfect, and I accept that.
Right.
But I know that every day I get a little better. It doesn't even matter if it's like I ran a little faster today, or I did more breathing exercises today. I got more breath work. I lost some weight today, or I ate better. There's so many different things that you can be better every single day in different parts of your life.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it could be like, starting with intent, or I just want to be a better, husband, when we're a father. And it's funny, like when I do walks now, and I see my neighbors walking around the neighborhood, I wave hi and smile. And people that didn't, in the beginning, reply back and smile, they do now. It's like after, I'm just, hey, I'm just warning, right? Like, brings a smile on somebody else's face. And it's funny when you smile, you always say when you smile, you actually release these endorphins and stuff. It just makes you feel happy. You look at a child and you just happen to smile. You can't not smile at a kid or a baby. Well, a kid, they're pooping on you. That's a different story. But like, it's like every kid you see them smile.
Yeah.
It's like, are you dead inside? Or you don't want to be adorable. I mean,
You should be just a cold, emotionless.
Yeah, that's a great baby. dude, that kid's chubby as crap. He's got his pants down. That's still freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So in a month, 4 weeks, 30 days, your life has shifted dramatically because of this miracle morning, mentally, physically, and now I'm wondering how it's translating into your business, how it's impacted your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's just helping me basically start my day with better intent. I write my goals down a little bit more. So I don't do it every single day because I write my journal and set different things. I try to move it around. But what I've started doing the last couple of days is like write down 1 or 2 goals each day. So that way I can start like once I get out of the shower, either after my exercise or because I usually do scribing, then I go out and do running and then come back. Those are my last 2 usually. And then I go and jump in the shower. Once I get back out, it's like, okay, I can look at my journal and go, just a reminder, this is what I told myself I need to do today. These are the top 1 or 2 or 3 things that I need to get done. It's really more for me as a reminder.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you define your goals? Do you define them as like the Grant Cardone type of goals where it's like a lifetime thing or something that you can hit and achieve today?
Either the SMART goals that people talk about. No, I think you should have.
Well,
Yeah, I think you should have SMART goals, but I think also like once in a while you should have goals that are like extraordinary. Like you can't even, you don't even think it's possible because like why limit yourself, right? Like,
because I think if you make goals that you believe are possible, then you're not setting your
those aren't really goals. To me, those aren't goals.
It's something you can achieve. So it's just a matter of how your life.
Yeah, I want to make $10 today. Like that's pretty much doable.
Yeah.
You should be like, you want a goal that's again like attainable, but hard enough to get. That's the reason why it's called like it's like I want to be able to grab that piece of fruit from that tree, and now I'm like a foot away. Okay, well I need to jump higher. Well, today I jumped 2 inches higher, and I'm closer by 2 inches. 2 inches every day.
Right.
In 5 days or so, I should be able to touch that. Or 6 days or so, I'll touch that and grab it possibly. So that's you can that's a smart attainable goal where you can measure it at the same time. But I think there's you have to have a crazy outlandish goal for a lifetime.
Right.
I think it makes it fun. Like even dream, dream big.
Dream big. I think you always hear shoot for the stars, but I would counter that with don't shoot for the stars, shoot for the moon. If you miss the moon, guess where you're gonna end up?
Yep.
The stars.
Funny you say that because I had this crazy weird thought dream. I'm not even sure what it was a couple of days ago. I don't know how this came up. And sometimes your subconscious tells you these things as part of the sometimes meditation and stuff like that. But I was like, someone had asked me something, and I don't know, maybe it's triggered my subconscious. I want to go to space. I thought about it. I've always been enamored by the stars and possible aliens and all these other things. I'm like, I want to go to space. Now that we are going more with Elon and Jeff Bezos, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to actually be like the Jeff Bezos where I just get out there. Oh, I see it, and I come back. Literally, I want to be like an astronaut. I want to be there for like a while. Like beyond the whatever you call it, atmosphere, or not just a couple minutes. Weightlessness. I want to be like, man, I can see the sun. I can see moons and planets, asteroids.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not for a whole day, possibly. Maybe for a few hours.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be really cool too. I've thought about that myself. Do you think that is an attainable goal, or do you think it's kind of far fetched?
No, I think it's super attainable because if you think about it, more and more people are doing it. Now it's like, they're doing is they're giving the wealthiest people that have the money to get the training and all that stuff. But I think eventually we're going to be doing that down the road. Now, how fast? You're going to stop. You're going to need the money because it's so expensive. It's just like right now with electric cars. They're still fairly expensive for a lot of people, but they're getting, like Elon's making those Model 3s that are more affordable for everybody. Right. Eventually, there's somebody that's coming through that's going to be able to get you the space for a cheaper rate. And it's a matter if you want to go, obviously.
So as of right now, I didn't know that, but as of right now, I guess it's kind of a luxury vacation for the elites. But you think it would be more commoditized in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what it's another, or the old school. You're probably too young for the movie or the show, The Jetsons, where it's like you're flying to other, planets, not other countries.
I've heard of
It
the
seems
show. I've
cool.
never watched it. I am a little bit young for it.
Yeah, I can see you look forward to. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite shows cartoons when I was growing up. So, but yeah, I think it's a cool thing. Like, why limit yourself?
Yeah.
I've always been crazy. Part of my small tangent, I guess, but like I love talking about and learning about other things. Like, I just believe there's aliens out there. And
Yeah.
like I don't think anyone can say, "Oh, we have the human race, and that's all we have that we see here." Like, there's a possibility. I'm not saying there is it. I'm saying you can't say no. There's no possibility of
Right.
other beings or other species out because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know. Could the planet actually be flat? It possibly could. I never got out to space to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a lot. I don't care, but I want to know, and I want to be open to like, yeah, there's other species coming in, and I want to be able to tap their brains. Like, if I can talk to them, like, hey, where'd you come from? What are you bringing to us? Like, are you smarter than us? Obviously you are, because you got here. We didn't look at you.
Right.
So, it's an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to learn. Where some people might be, oh my God, they got to come take people to the planet. Oh, I want to die anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know,
What do you think about like the people that say there are already aliens on Earth? Like, I think people say Zuck is an alien, like lizard type of thing. The reptilians.
I mean, if I said it, it might not, who knows. I do believe there's some aliens because I watch these crazy, stupid shows on National Geographic and History Channel. My conspiracy theory would probably be longer than this show that we're on right now. So it's a definitely neat thing. I believe I choose to believe in the imposters that people don't want to maybe possibly like more scared. I just been enamored by. I think if the aliens that came here, they're so much smarter than we are. We're probably using that technology. If you think about, like,
Well, what makes you think they would be smarter than us? What makes you think they want to be just at the same point as we are?
the reason why I think they're smart is because they got here. We have not found an alien planet,
Right.
but if they came here somehow, then they've obviously have full capabilities. Now, when did they come here? They came here in 2023, where we are now, or they probably came here a long time ago. So their technology is way advanced than we are.
Right.
So, and that'd be cool. And I actually believe that's the case because it's from not actually, I mean, I'm talking prehistoric times is what I'm hearing.
So you think they are just eons ahead of us?
I think they acclimated to us and penetrated the human race. Thing of you look into it, a history channel called the Anunnakis, back in Egypt times, when the pyramids were, and Egypt was the center and the hub. There is possible aliens that came through, all basically maybe what you call love and penetrating the human race by just getting whatever, having babies and what, I don't know how they did it. It's more natural stuff that we talk about now, or it's more insemination or something stuff like that. Who knows what happened, but I believe that's the case because there's certain people that are just different beings that have no. I think Elon could be a freaking alien at this point,
Yeah.
That guy looks like he could last sleep and still get work done.
We've seen some crazy pictures from him. The sleeping in the office at 3 a.m. on the floor, like several, multi-deca billionaire sleeping on the floor.
Think about his ideas too.
Yeah.
Think about the ideas that he's had with his grow and how advanced he is in front of all these things. I'm not saying every business he's done has been successful. No one is all the time, but look how much impact he's made on not just the US, but look at the ones that he's built out. PayPal, right? And then why did he not take the money from there and just live his life?
Right.
What made him start Tesla? What made him start knowing that might be the next thing? Now, other people before Tesla was electric cars and solar power was not brand new. What made him be the one? What made him do the space thing right now? It's going forward. All these different business that he's got going, and
Well, he's trying to go back home, I think.
yeah,
He's trying to go back home or chase the people back here, I guess.
possibly. I mean, it's a cool story. I mean, maybe it's conspiracy theory. It could be not anything at all. But I don't know. I think it's just kind of neat. Why not believe them? I'm a fancy guy anyway, so it's like, kind of cool. You know? My God, we can go to whatever planet, and there are this people. Yes, actually, aliens are real. Like, oh my, yeah, like imagine if aliens are real.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? And there's so many ways to think about it. Like, there's talk about, you know, the Earth is what's it, 3/4 water, and we haven't explored like 60% of the oceans.
Right.
We don't know. You know, and I kind of grew up in this fantasy world, so maybe it's just more me getting influenced by that. But I think it's kind of cool.
I think either way would be cool.
Mhm.
Now I have taken a page out of Lewis Howe's book, and I think it's appropriate to what we're talking about right now. Actually, the first question is from him. It's your last day on Earth. Everything you've created has to go with you. You can only leave behind or share 3 lessons that you know to be true or of value. What are they?
I apologize. I had to plug my computer in. I was running low on battery. It's like, give me a red signal. You repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said I took a page out of Lewis Howe's book. I said it's appropriate, I think, for all the aliens we're talking about. I said it's your last day on Earth. Everything you've created has to go with you. You can only leave behind or share 3 lessons that you know to be true or of value. What are they?
Expect life to be complicated than it is. So that's probably one. Like, it's just part of life. I think it's just the thing. No one lives a perfect life. No, nothing's perfect in general. So that's part of the one. Keep growing. Right, I think you should continue to grow no matter what that is. Eventually, you know, we get to a certain height and you stop growing. That's what people think. But like, grow your mind, continue to learn. That's what I do. I quite enjoy learning. Like, I wasn't that way when I was younger, but now I'm older. Like, entrepreneurship made me want to learn. I'm learning about like how to be a better leader, how to manage finances. My stuff I don't need to learn, but it excites me. Like, not just real estate, but I want to be able to like learn that stuff to like keep more money in, you know, down the road, my employees' pockets, my partner's pockets.
Yes.
You know, build wealth for their family, not for me, because I don't have a family. I don't plan to get married, but you never know. Yeah.
Right.
But as you know, I want to help more people out that way. So if I learn it, I want to pass it along. Very much like basic. Whatever I'm learning, I want to pass it along if I can to my community. But I don't have one yet. So maybe that's something down the road. To me, is that you better continue to grow.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Your mind, your brain should continue to grow. That's part of the reading. I didn't start reading again until Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. And like now I'm like reading, finished that book really quickly. It's really easy to read, by the way. And then I'm reading Business Made Simple. I forgot the gentleman's name, but it's pretty good. And I read obviously like I'm listening to audibles, YouTube books. Eat That Frog. I mean, there's so many books. I'm getting more and more into that. So, sorry, long tangent. Third one, I don't know. I haven't thought about the one, but I think along the lines of self-improvement. Yeah. If you just continue to take care of yourself.
Maybe the third one would be that aliens are real.
Maybe. You know, I might be an alien myself. I have no clue.
That's
a thought. I mean, I'd be shocked and be like, "Hey, man, awesome."
Yeah. The second question is, what is it? 1 second.
Sure.
What are your 3 traits?
3 truths. Boom. I actually don't know. What do you mean by truths? Like,
I believe it's referring to what are, I guess, maybe your 3 principles, your 3 morals, your 3 things that you have to stick to be tech.
oh, start with integrity. Your name doesn't matter if you're not, Grant Cardone, Pace Morby, or, the president, Donald Trump, and all that other stuff. Or if you're not a celebrity, your name carries weight. So you should have integrity. It's for your family's name. Just think about that because there's a lot of stuff going on in cheaper spending and money and stuff like that and being shady and things like that. Your name means a lot. Keep people right. Basically, it's along the same lines. And I want to make sure I take care of whoever I'm working with. As a partner, same thing on this call. We just met Tony, and what do you say you're going to do? I think at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about others. We are in this world for a little bit. I mean, think about it. I don't know how long most people live, but lifespan's what, in the 70s? But
The 90s, 80s.
yeah, 70s, maybe early 80s. Like, help other people out. I mean, when you're a kid, you can, but when you get in adulthood, you're going to, teenagers, your use.
Yeah.
Be good to your community, help people out, and I think like at the beginning, like, we just need forward to you.
Right.
That's the best currency. Like I feel so good when I connect with my friends and other people together. They make a deal. I'm like, oh my God, let's get that something done.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah.
I don't need to get paid. It's emotional energy, emotional income.
Right.
Makes me feel good. See,
I was talking to someone about that before, and we were talking about how helping others, I think, can sometimes be selfish. If you're doing it for yourself, or you're doing it for them, so it's it's I guess not selfish, but mutually beneficial.
yeah, I mean, you should. I mean, obviously your time is valuable, but I don't know. That's just how I was brought up. I'm the older child, so I was always helping my brother. Like even now, like I was last week, like there's like, I need your help teaching this tennis class. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's all money last resort. Hopefully, if he's stuck and he needs my help, then he knows how busy I am. I do a schedule around. So,
are you a tennis guy?
I used to teach tennis full time job.
Oh, okay. So you like tennis, so it's not something.
I enjoy it. I don't play as much
a
anymore.
little bit of a vacation, and
What's that?
I said it was probably a little bit of a vacation, a little bit of a stress reliever.
Yeah, I mean, exercise. It's fun. It was more of a job as I was doing it. I enjoyed it when I was a kid growing up, and then when it became a job, I enjoyed passing on knowledge.
Yeah.
Same thing we're doing now, and other groups in real estate and stuff like that. But I enjoyed what I knew in tennis, passing on to people that did not know. I'm not saying I was professional or anything like that, but people that just want to learn the game, I want to pass on as much knowledge to see them get better. I think it's just a general nature of who I am, and I feel like I'm naturally born coach. So
Yeah.
I like that.
I think it's very bless you. I think it's really powerful to be able to coach, and I've actually heard people say the best way to learn is to coach, which kind of seems weird because how can you coach if you don't know what you're coaching? But you have to know it, and so you're gonna have to learn it on the front end, and then by coaching, and you're learning even more. So
yeah, I mean, all the stuff I've learned, I just pass it along to other people that ask, because like I might be one step ahead of you.
right.
It's kind of like school if you think about it, or even any sports when you're in school. Like, if I'm in third grade or whatever they're teaching there, say they're teaching subtraction. I don't know subtraction. I can just go to a fourth grader, or maybe somebody that just learned it like last week. That's in another classroom or something like that. They just happen to teach it earlier. They understand it. They can pass it along to me.
Right.
But it's the same thing also, like my niece and nephews. Like my niece is older, teaches my nephew certain things. We just help each other out. I don't know. I think every family does that for the most part.
Yeah. And that's all it really takes is one step ahead. Like, I mean, there's mentors that, aren't really super accomplished, but they're one step ahead. Obviously Pace Morby, Grant Cardone, and all of them, they're lots of steps ahead. But
Yeah.
they're great people to look up to and to learn from, great coaches. The last question before we wrap it up is, what are 3 things you cannot live without?
Obviously, the ones would be the oxygen, air, and stuff like that. But 3 things I couldn't live without. I think I could not live without people, like friends, right? I think we all need that. If you're lonely, that's I think a very bad thing. I was thinking about this. If I was Tom Hanks in that stupid movie, not stupid movie, sorry, Tom Hanks in that Castaway movie, right?
Yeah.
That stupid like ball, whatever he had, that was his friend. I would blow my brains. So I could see how he'd like crazy. And talking to fish all the time, and I don't know what I would do. I think I need that. What's me needing interaction with other people? That's why I like going with other people. I like to work as a team. I like seeing my friends win. I like seeing, obviously, when my friends win, I win. That's how I see it. So, definitely. So, community or friends. Other needs. I mean, physical needs. I think like I can take care of that myself. Right.
Right.
Obviously, you need your food, but then I don't know. I think I need goals. I need something like to strive for. As an entrepreneur, my goals keep changing, and I write down my goals every year at the end. Usually around like the Christmas break to New Year's. I take that downtime. Like, okay, what am I setting up for next year? And this changes all the time, so I have to adapt to. So I'm thinking about coming up this year. Like, I might have to do it every quarter, but I want to, like we were talking about earlier, like have like a someone actually one of my some 2 friends was like, what's your like end of the year goal? What's your 1 year goal? What's your 5 year goal for your stuff? And it's always monetary. And I'm like, knowing means like one of my passions, to be honest, and I'll finish with this, is I have a few friends that are not financially stable.
Right.
I'm a little bit better than they are, and I'm like, I want to help them. I don't know, it's an innate thing because I love these people, and then different people, not a couple or just they don't even know each other, and they don't even know this. I literally want to get them out of their day-to-day job because they told me like it's so stressful and I have all the things. I'm like, how do I get to a level where I can basically like, you don't need to work again.
Right.
I got you. I will take care of you. But at the same time, one of these guys, one of them, the guy was a girl. This one guy doesn't want to do it for himself. Like somewhere in there, you can't change people's minds. You can't help them. You can lead them to water. You can't make them drink.
Right.
I tried for 6 months to help this guy out, and I can only do so much.
Right.
And if you fight me, I don't have the energy to give you sometimes. But what in the back of my mind is, I'm just going to prove it and do it, and then I'm going to save him later. I'll just come back.
Yeah.
You're in the pool with sharks. Don't worry. Survive. I will come back and get you.
Right.
This is kind of like how I'm thinking about it. See?
Yeah. In order to be helped, you must want the help. You must be willing to accept the help.
Yes. And people are in different spots in their life, right? Different stressors, and there's other things. I won't get into it, but just knowing, good friend of mine, and he's got other things on his plate. And I'm like, I want to help you out, but it seems like you don't want to get help. And I've tried, but again, it's could be a bunch of different factors. Outside factors that him could be me telling him something he's not ready to hear, because you have to be you have to be open to taking some criticism too.
Right.
I'm like, this is what I think we should do, but does he want to take my advice?
Especially maybe from someone, you said this was a high school friend or childhood friend?
It's a long time friend, yeah.
So, especially with someone that you grew up with, someone that was your age, like someone that you see as an equal, but they have been more successful than you, and it just maybe you have to have dropped the ego a little bit to be able to be willing to hear and accept and understand that they're truly trying to help you.
Yeah, I think you have to be open to taking some a little bit of criticism, but also be open to adapting. Like I'm a person of, like I said earlier, should continue to grow, which is to me in essence adapting. Because if I tell you and you tell me like, hey, chop the wood, do it this way, and you keep doing that way, but I want to do my own way, and I find it to me it's better, even though you might be like, it's not sufficient. Who's to say you're right and who's to say I'm wrong?
Right.
And it gets done. But and again, I can't help people that can't get helped.
Yeah.
But in my nature, I know when I come back.
Right.
And the one thing I also learned recently, I was reading a Business Made Simple book, was I don't like confrontation usually, but I'm actually getting better with that. Like, it's things I write down some things now. It's like, do the hard thing. So whatever the hard thing is, take care of that, and the rest of your day becomes super easy. Someone told me this, and it's like, whatever the hardest thing you have to do today, if you accomplish that first and get it out of the way, the rest of the day becomes so easy. Like you're like, oh my God, it's even a bad conversation to have. Is it whatever? It's a paper you have to write, whatever the case may be in your day. Attack that hard problem, difficult issue, and then again, rest of your day becomes ease. Yeah, it's like, wow, I just took care of that. Like one thing's going to affect me the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then instead of, also having anxiety all day about that one thing, that's already off your mind, whatever the outcome was, and you can just look forward to the rest of your day. That might even be some enjoyable stuff. Obviously there's going to be some stuff that's like, yeah, I have to do it, but, can't really get away from it, but it's not the one thing that you were dreading.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it mentally helps you out too, because you're not over stressing about it for whatever next day or 3, 4 whole weekend. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is the end of our show. I appreciate your time, Tech. It's been a great conversation. I always had some technical difficulties. A little bit on play on words there. Tech issues. I think that might become a new nickname for you, Tech. I don't know.
I'm the guy
who's thinking about something unique with that.
It's not, you call it tech support. It's definitely not me, because I have no idea how to fix this stuff. I was playing around with it. I don't know how I got it to work. I'm glad I got it done.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Maybe we gotta what is it? I can't even. We gotta protest against StreamYard and be like, hey man, what's up? We're trying to get a show on here.
Yeah, I was like, trying to record and hop on. You wouldn't let us hop on. But
yeah,
maybe it was just saying something different at the time. People want us to get together so early.
Yeah, but I think this has been a very valuable show, both to myself and to the audience. So I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it for having me. Thanks, Tony.
Yep. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too.
Hey, this is Tony Butchers. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. I would love to see you on the next episode. Also, if you have 10 seconds, I'd appreciate it if you would leave a review or a rating. I would appreciate it so much. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. As always, thanks for listening. Have a great day.